Welcome to Facebook Ads Online Workshop. I'm Jason. I am going to spend the next 3 days with you learning about 3 most frequently asked questions Facebook advertisers have. Now, this is really based on my past 10 years experience as an agency working together with over 200 brands and training over 3,500 people on Facebook advertising since 2016. Whether you are a new Facebook advertiser or a seasoned Facebook advertiser, chances are one of these questions are bothering you. Now, you may have certain theories or methodologies in determining the right number or the right way to do this, but you always have doubt. Whether, is this the right way to do this? Is there any other better way to do this? How can we do this differently? Etc, etc. So over the past 10 years, working on Facebook advertising specifically with thousands of people, we do have a system or a set of formulas and calculators to help you determine important metrics or numbers for your questions. So mainly in these 3 lessons workshop, we're going to discuss 3 important questions. The first question is, what is the right target audience size for your Facebook ads campaign? We offer calculator and formula to calculate it. Second question would be, what is the right budget that I should apply for my Facebook ads campaign? We do also have a calculator for that. And third, what are the right ways to develop effective customer audiences that can really help us optimize our Facebook ads campaign? So without further ado, let's dive into that. In our Facebook ads classes, one of the most important sessions is a very detailed walkthrough on how to set up a full campaign from scratch. Eventually, when it comes to the audience targeting part, this question would never fail to be asked by the participant. So what is the right target audience size to start with? Whether you are a seasoned advertiser or you have been advertising for a while, you probably have your own set of so-called methodology, but you always have doubt whether is this the right way to set up my target audience size? Is this the right size to go for? What is the better size to look at? Is there any other way to do this? So eventually, to address this part of the question, we will usually start by asking another question, which is we were trying to address the audience targeting misconceptions. You see, when it comes to audience targeting misconceptions, it's really about addressing some misunderstandings people have towards audience targeting. And there are mainly 2 parts of the audience targeting misconception. The first part is you're probably targeting too big. Now, when it comes to Facebook advertising, let's take Malaysia, for example. You're looking at about 26 million, 25 to 26 million. Basically, if you're trying to target everyone, I'm not saying that you can't, but is that a wise choice to go for? But a lot of people still have that kind of so-called mindset, okay, that they don't want to go for the biggest one because they thought that the more people I target, the more chances I get to meet the right one. But in fact, this is totally counterintuitive compared to what we have learned. You see, when we were small, when we were young, I think it's secondary school time or primary school time, I'm not too sure because it's been too long. There is a topic in mathematics called the probability or kebarangkalian. Now, when it comes to kebarangkalian, it says this. When you're trying to target bigger crowd, you have lower probability of reaching the right one or hitting your target. So that is something that a lot of people kind of forgotten because we learned this many years ago. But yes, this applies to Facebook advertising. The example is if you're trying to target 1 million people, you're probably having a probability of maybe 1 to 1,000 to reach the right audience. But if you go for a smaller audience size, you're probably getting maybe 1 out of 50 or even 100 people that you reach. So the idea is we want to reach the right audience more frequently. I do not encourage to go for a very big audience size because it doesn't work that way. But having said that, certain people would like to go for a very small audience size as well. Now, small as in maybe just a few thousand or tens of thousands. Now, this is a very challenging situation. Why? Because if you have a very, very niche audience, say maybe a few thousand people, you might have the problem of under delivery. Now, under delivery is a situation where you plan to spend maybe 100 ringgit a day, but eventually you only get to spend about 50 a day. That is not something to be proud of. Why? You see, when we are running ads on Facebook, when we are running ads on anywhere, to be frank, if we set aside to spend maybe 100 a day, we need to spend 100 a day to get the result that we are expecting. Under delivery will actually put our campaign in a risk where we are not getting the result. We are not able to get the result that we want. So it's really important for us to be able to reach the balance. It's neither too big nor too small. And what is the right audience size basically? But before we need to get into that, I really want to share with you again how Facebook ads work. This is something that a lot of people kind of misunderstood as well. So first of all, a lot of people would think that, okay, when we are running an ad, so this is a sample of an advertisement. When you run an ad, you're trying to get people to click over to your landing page. Whether it's landing page, well, if you use lead form means lead open, then essentially is to get people to visit a destination. It's an action. Then after that, from there, you're trying to get people to convert. Whether they sign up as a lead to provide you the phone number and everything, or they actually buy from you on your website. Now, these 3 simple steps may seem very simple, but it's never that simple at all, because a lot of things are hidden at the back, and Facebook don't make it available for everyone to understand how the whole process works. So the first thing I want to share with you is the statistics that we get in the Facebook Blueprint program, which is on average, a person needs to see your ads at least 2 to 3 times in 7 days to notice your ad. Now, what does it mean? What it really means here is most of the time we are actually using Facebook on mobile. According to Facebook, 90% worldwide of people consume or access to Facebook using their mobile devices as opposed to the desktop version. And for countries like Japan, it's 100%. So when you're consuming or when you're browsing Facebook on your mobile phone is usually a very super duper chaos and noisy environment. So especially Facebook newsfeed, a lot of people or a lot of brands or a lot of information is trying to vie for your attention. So when we are browsing Facebook, right, I always like to say that our intelligence system kind of shuts down a little and our subconscious kicks in. What does it mean by that? When our subconscious kicks in, eventually our subconscious mind is very good at one thing, which is to reject stranger things. Now, when we are browsing Facebook, 1 out of 5, maximum 7 of pieces of information, there will be one advertisement. So when we are browsing Facebook, right, it automatically scans for familiar faces. Let's say, for example, if I know Jack. So when Jack posts something about his lunch, then I'll be like, okay, I'll stop and I would click like. But if it's a brand, I would actually scroll through. Now, in order for a brand or a new advertisement, or in the way I call this the stranger information or intrusive information, in order for my subconscious mind to adapt, and to get familiarized with this piece of information, the piece of information need to appear 2 to 3 times. So your ad need to show the audience at least 2 to 3 times in 7 days for them to notice. Then when they notice, they will decide whether they want to click on your advertisement or not. So eventually when they finally realize that, hey, I've seen this several times, I think I'm keen, let's take a look at what it is. So when they look at your piece of information, or rather your advertisement, then they will decide whether they want to click or not. Now, do you know what is the normal click-through rate? As in, like, how many % of these people who sees your ad will eventually click? Based on our past 10 years experience running ads campaign for our clients, as well as our past 4 years experience learning with over 3,000 plus people that run ads actively, the average click-through rate is 1%. So 1 out of 100 people will decide to click. So when they click, that would lead them to the landing page, whether it's a website, whether it's a lead form and all that. And do you know what is the normal percentage of converting? It's usually less than 5%. Most of the time, it's a lot lower than that. For e-commerce in Malaysia, to be frank, anything 1 to 3% is totally normal. So here's the thing. They need to see your ads 2 to 3 times in 7 days to notice. Then they will click. 1% of them will click, and out of that, less than 5% will actually convert into your lead. The next thing is that I really want to share with you the concept of the real reach. The real reach means you're not really reaching the number of people that you intend based on your potential reach. So I really want to help you understand the concept of reach and impression. So these are the 2 permanent metrics that exist in Facebook Ads Manager. So in any campaign that you create, reach and impressions will always be there. Okay, if you're not familiar, you probably should just Google it and go into your Ads Manager. If you run ads, you definitely have an active Ads Manager. It's just that if you keep running ads from the page itself, like clicking the boost button and all that, you probably have not gone into the ads manager to see the statistics and everything. So I do encourage that you go in. So when you are looking at your reach and impressions, these two analytics, you will see some scenario probably like this. You reach 300 and your impressions is 900. So what does it mean? It really means here you have reached 300 people with a total of 900 times. So there is one thing that is not visible on the ads manager, which is the frequency. So over here it says that you have averagely reached these 300 people 3 times in average, and all of them have seen your ads in total of 900 times within a given period. So what about the real reach here is that, the whole idea that we are setting up a Facebook ads campaign in Ads Manager, you will definitely see the potential reach. What I really want to highlight to you here is that your potential reach is never your real reach. Your real reach may only be a fraction of the total potential reach that you're having right now. So eventually what we really need to look at is the frequency, because for most advertisement objectives, you are not allowed to control how many times your audience gets to see your advertisement. You can only control your frequency in reach objective. Now come into our Ads Accelerator program, which is an online learning program, to look at how you can use each and every one of the objectives effectively. So basically, when it comes to real reach, we really need to dive into your analytics. So you need some historical data to work on that. So let's say, for example, let's do a quick calculation. If your average CPM, now what is CPM? CPM is cost per 1,000 impression, which is how much you are paying to reach people 1,000 times. So this is also another hidden metrics that Facebook don't make it available in the Ads Manager metrics. We do have some videos in terms of teaching you how to draw out these metrics and how to make sense of the metrics available. You can take a look at our Accelerator program. But basically, if you're looking at your average CPM is 5 ringgit, what we really need to find out is by spending every 1 ringgit, you are actually getting to show your ads about 200 times. And then the next metric that we want to look at is the frequency. So let's say if your average frequency is 1.5, okay, by spending a 1 ringgit, you're actually only reaching about 133 people. Although you are showing 200 times, the real reach is only 133. Now, moving forward, if you're spending 1,000 a month, your campaign potential reach would be about 133,000 and with a total of about 200,000 times. So this is a very important data that you need to dive into your historical data to draw out. And with this, right, this will serve as your analytical benchmark. So you will have a better idea about, look, I spent this amount of money, okay, I should be reaching this audience. So let's say here I should be reaching about 133,000 people and with a total of about 200,000 times. So every month, you need to come back to your Ads Manager to see whether this number really tally or not. If not, it could be probably because of the frequency coming up too high. You need to do some adjustment in terms of controlling your frequency. Or probably, the CPM is fluctuating. So these are all the metrics, or so these are all the variables or factors they may change from time to time. We need to dive into each and every one of them. So the right target audience size is really, and what I mean here is the audience size that is realistic to your ads budget. Let's say, for example, if you're planning to spend 1,000 a month and you're trying to reach 1 million people, in my opinion, this is a very long shot. You would definitely find it difficult because you're targeting too many people with the budget that you're having. So we want to find a target audience size that is aligned with our Facebook ads budget. That is our motive. So let's say, for example, come back to the case, we want to have an audience size to support our campaign for at least 3 months to 6 months run. Now, this is a very important concept here. When you run one advertisement, let's say one set of creative, as long as your audience size is good enough for you, you should be able to just run your campaign for at least 3 months to 6 months. The objective here is we were trying to build a longer term campaign. My methodology is not about changing creative or changing the copywriting all the time. When we hit the right combination should be able to support us for a 3 to 6 months run. So within these 3 to 6 months run, as long as we are running fine, we don't change visual. So basically the whole idea is we want to only refresh our ad creative when the average frequency gets too high. Say for example, we are looking at about just now 1.5. If the average frequency has hit 3, then it's time for us to change the visual because most of these people have seen your ads way too many times. And the other scenario is when we have reached more than 50% of our total target audience size. So let's say we're looking at 133,000 per month. Our ideal target audience size, let's say for a 3-month run, would be about 450,000. So when we have reached over 250,000 or 300,000, which is over 50% of our total audience size, and it's time for us to consider changing the visual, because probably kind of saturating your audience already with the creative. And if you have all this opt-out mechanism, which is they've seen this ad, they don't see this ad again, so this is part of the advanced techniques that we share in Facebook Ads Accelerator program. So basically with this opt-in, opt-out mechanism, when you have reached more than 50%, then it's really the time that you should come in and rerun to this group of people again with the new creative. So that's when you do the creative refresh. So here is the takeaway. The right target audience size should be a target audience size that is realistic to your Facebook ads budget. Like I said, if you're trying to hit 1 million with only 1,000 budget a month, it's a very difficult campaign. And your audience size is way too big for your budget. So if you're spending 1,000 a month, let's say like what we are looking at here is, your audience size should be about 400,000 to 500,000 maximum. We do have a Facebook ads audience size calculator in our Facebook Ads Accelerator program. I do encourage you to take a look at the program, because we do offer online classes, as in like we do walk through how to set up Facebook ads campaign from scratch and everything. And also we do offer some calculators and templates to help you determine certain numbers here and there. It's really a valuable program, because now we are running a very special promo. So now you get the idea. The right target audience size is a target audience size that is realistic to your ads budget. So what we want is, we want to go back to the calculator and see how much we are spending, what will be the audience size that is suitable for us for a 3 to 6 month run. So that wraps up this lesson. I'll see you again tomorrow.